personal. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
All right, Brendan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with the one and only Javiel Centeno.
One and only.
Yeah, how you doing, Javiel?
Good, man. Good.
It's good to be here. Good to be at Sweatbox.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know you're a quiet guy. You're kind of like to be in the background, but I feel like you have a lot of insight that you can give people on your fighters and your stable and Xander and all those great things. So I wanted to ask you about. We'll start with Xander because you've been with him since.
I think Xander was 11 when I started with him.
Yeah.
11 or 12.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been with him for a while. It's like my son.
Yeah.
I think I know more about him than he does. So.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, how would you say he's grown over the years?
Look, he's come a long way. I mean, you follow his trajectory from the amateurs to now. He's doing well. Look, it's a learning process. Top Rank is moving him well. Some people may say, oh, you need stuff for opponents, but we also got to remember, at the time he was only 17 years old. But he's getting tested every time out. Look, sometimes again, people that know boxing understand the fights fall through. There's always a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So sometimes you end up with what you get, right? But I feel these last couple of fights have put Xander in a trajectory where, he's being tested a little bit more with men. Now that he's growing up into a man, because he's 20 years old now. But each fight we're looking to get tested more and more. He's coming along well. He's coming along well.
No, absolutely. Well, people are calling Xander like the next Puerto Rican superstar, and that can sometimes be a lot of pressure on a young kid. How do you manage that as his trainer?
We keep that away from him. Look, I constantly remind him, he's still in a learning process. He has his goals. We have our goals for him as a team. But we have to keep him grounded. Keep his feet on the ground all the time, and it's a constant reminder because it's tough. With social media these days.
Oh.
You get the all the positive stuff, but you also get all the negative stuff. People like you're fighting bums and all this stuff. That's fine. Most people aren't fighting anybody.
That's true.
But it's making sure that we just keep him grounded and a constant reminder that it's not done yet. He hasn't made it yet. He's not a champion. So we have to constantly remind him and just make sure that he sticks to the plan. For his career.
Okay.
But he's a good kid. He's very mature for his age.
I can see that, yeah.
So, it's a little bit easier with somebody like that. Sometimes you get these young guys that, it's tough, man. They're not mature enough to understand, what it really takes to become a champion. So, when you get a kid like that who, his intention as a 60-year-old was to become a world champion, it's different because they have that mindset set for that path. So they'll do whatever it takes to get there. Some guys want the easy way. They want the easy route. They think that they can post their stuff on social media and all of a sudden they can become a world champion or get an opportunity at a world title. It just doesn't work that way. So.
No.
But he's one of those that we put a lot of time into him. Not just in boxing, but just getting his head right. Making sure that he's prepared for anything, not just boxing. He's prepared for his interviews. He's prepared for just about anything. The kid came here speaking no English at all.
That's amazing.
Now he does interviews both in English and Spanish, and it was all a process. It was all making sure he understands why, and getting him that making that a goal. To where what, if you're gonna do an interview in Spanish, make sure you can do it in English. And he's at that point, and people love that. Promoters love that. The fans love that. He's very marketable that way.
No, absolutely.
But he's doing well, man. He's on the right path, and look, he continues to do what we want him to do, and just stay focused.
Okay. What do you feel separates him from other fighters in boxing as a fighter?
Well, look, every fighter is disciplined at a certain level, right? Xander eats, breathes, sleeps boxing, but he also has his outgoing side. He doesn't party or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he knows how to separate boxing from the rest of his life, and that's important because you get young guys who one will overtrain, or just lose that luster. You know, they lose that hunger because, you know, they feel again like they've made it just because they're undefeated. Being undefeated these days doesn't mean much. You know?
No.
So, you know, again, going back to that constant reminder and just educating them that, look, there's a lot more than just being undefeated. There's a lot more than just boxing. We make sure, you know, he's setting himself up financially, and I do that with all my fighters.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
it's about educating them on everything outside of boxing, because if it's just boxing and you're just depending on boxing, you know, 90% of the times, you know, shit doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You know, so make sure that, you know, they're putting money away. That, you know, I mean, this that financial side is important, because if they don't have to worry about that, it makes boxing so much more fun.
They can actually do.
Yeah, you know, if fights fall out, okay, I'm okay. You know, so we want fighters to, you know, make sure that they're in that position where if a fight falls through, they're okay. You know, they can still survive. So, but yeah, you know, he's very mature for his age. You know, his abilities, his boxing abilities are just getting better every time out. You know, sometimes it's good to go the distance, like in his last fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are fights, those are educational fights, those are learning experiences. You know, so I'm a fan of going the distance. You know, I'm a fan of fights that.
It's good to hear a trainer say that, or someone say that.
You know. Now look, don't get me wrong. I mean, if he hurts somebody, and you know what, you can take him out early, take him out. But if you're gonna get the rounds in, get the rounds in. You know, let's go for it. You know, you know when you can knock a guy out, right? But if you can't, that's okay. It's okay. We move on. Let's get the education out of it. You know, and that's what we do. And he's very, you know, he adheres to that well. You know, so he doesn't go out looking for the knockouts anymore. You know, now it's like, okay, let's box. Let's show what we can do.
He's matured.
You know? Yeah. So, you know, so again, early on in a career, it's easy. You know, you can knock. You know, they see better opponents in the amateurs. You know, on that national level, than what they see in their first, you know, 6-7 fights, you know, as a pro. So, but he's smart. He's a smart kid.
Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.